Alright, we got the Game Gear out here, and Bust-A-Move. Bust-A-Move was a very popular arcade game in the mid-90s, and it made a pretty good port to the color screen on the Game Gear, so let's check it out, shall we? This game was developed and produced by Toyota. Yes, I can't say it, it's Japanese. Company most likely known for Double Dragon, and they also did a very popular arcade game in the mid '80s called Bubble Bobble. And if you played Bubble Bobble, well, you're going to recognize the little monster characters in this game, because this game in Japan was actually called Puzzle Bobble. Hence, it's a puzzle game. Very good little puzzle game too. Basically, you just line up these shots here, shoot one of your colored balls at least two of the same to make basically at least three colors match, and then they'll disappear. So like I said, this game came out in Japan called Puzzle Bobble, and when it came over here, it was named Bust-A-Move. Now, Bust-A-Move now would probably make you think it's a dancing game, so maybe it isn't the best name for the game, but Puzzle Bobble is probably a better name. But hey, that's how it goes sometimes. Like I said, this game came out in the arcades in the mid-90s, came out in 1994, and it was pretty popular in the arcades. I actually remember this on the Super Nintendo first. I think my friend had it on the Super Nintendo, and he might have had Bust-A-Move 2 on the PlayStation. There's versions of this game on basically every system you can name, but I didn't see it on the arcade until after that. And I think we were in the movie theater one day, and there was a Bust-A-Move arcade, and we started playing it, and I was thinking that, this is a game from the late 80s. And if you think about it, Bubble Bobble came out in the mid 80s, and there were a lot of puzzle games in the arcades in the late 80s. And technically, if you look at this game, I think it could have been done in the late 80s. So I was just assumed it was an older game than it is, but no, it actually came out in '94. But it's a fun game, so I guess it doesn't have to be too technically advanced or anything. In this level here, they're kind of showing you that you really can bank the shots off the walls, and of course I missed, but if you can bank the orange shots off the walls, I mean, two banked shots and you've beat the level, because anytime the balls get, burst and they're attached to things below it, everything below it will fall. And here you can see the lightning ball, which, kills all the things beside it. So once again, in this level, three well-placed shots, and you would beat the level. Of course, I missed a few here, but there you go. You can definitely beat that level in 3 shots. So the early stages, I would say, are more or less just training stages, to teach you some of the specialty power-up balls, or how to bank your shots off the walls. You have a time limit because the roof does come down. The screen will start to shake, as you can see now, and eventually, there we go. Eventually, the roof comes down a stage, and it gives you less room to play in. So it's going to get more hectic and more hectic as the roof comes down. It's similar to Tetris when you start building up, but in this one you build down, so it's a little bit different. One thing I definitely remember about this game is that it has some pretty catchy music. So yeah, like I said, this game was fairly popular in the mid '90s. It definitely spawned off a lot of clones. There's a lot of similar, shoot the colored marbles and match up the color. There's a lot of puzzle games that are very similar to this. And like I said, this game itself was ported to pretty much every system you can imagine. I mean, everything from the 3DO to the Neo Geo to the Game Boy. A lot of mobile versions of this game, the iPhone, the N-Gage, and like I said, the Super Nintendo and PlayStation. And like I said, it definitely ports well to the Game Gear. Having a color screen definitely helps. I had Dr. Mario on the Game Boy back in the day, and I remember that kind of being a joke because the whole point of Dr. Mario was to match up the colors, and it kind of lost something on the black and white screen. So I mean, it's nice and colorful on the Game Gear here, as you can see. You can clearly make out all the different colors. Not sure how well that would work out on the Game Boy, having only 3 shades of gray, but it was on there nonetheless. You can see in this level here the background changes. So as you get further in the game, every 10 levels or so, the background will change to give you something different to look at, and the walls and the roof change with that, so it sort of all matches together nicely. There's a 2-player mode in this game, and most of the games on the Game Gear, of course, you'd have to use a link cable with 2 Game Gears. But in the arcade and on the home consoles, of course, it was just split screen. But it plays very much like Tetris, just like you would expect. As you burst enough of your bubbles or balls or marbles or whatever you want to call them, eventually all the ones you burst will be transferred over to your opponent's screen. So it could get pretty hectic, and that'd be pretty fun, I would imagine. I remember playing Tetris on the Game Gear over the link cable all the time, and it would do the same thing when you got like a Tetris. All of a sudden, all those lines would appear on your screen. It'd make it really hectic. If there's any issues with this version at all, it's just due to the fact that the Game Gear screen is very small, so the resolution's not as high, and the pointer itself doesn't really have as much detail in it as it does in the arcade versions or on the Super Nintendo or PlayStation, and sometimes it's a little bit hard to tell exactly how you've got the arrow aimed. So for some of the really precise shots, it does make it a little bit harder. Like, there's just not enough detail in the pointer. But most of the time it's not an issue. But definitely there's a few times when you really want to make a precise shot, and it's just hard to tell exactly where the arrow's pointing. Another reason that you might sort of be fooled into thinking this game is a lot older than it really is just how many different versions and variations and sequels there are to this game. There's approximately 25 different sequels and variations of this game across different platforms. So for a game that's only been around for 15 years, it's definitely been around. And anyways, as you can see, I'm running out of time and starting to do horribly, and I'm about to die, so I guess we'll leave it off there and see you guys later.